Any answer?
Um, to be honest, I was waiting today's sessions to see what do we usually take steps. Where do we go? Where do we dwell?
That's beautiful. Thanks for sharing, Sarah. Thank you. Anyone else who wants to share anything? Or even if you have any questions, you're most welcome. I'll be very happy to answer. Okay, someone's internet was not good yesterday. Amina felt a little sad. Yes, we include that. We include sadness also, Amina. All feelings are accepted. All feelings are valid, right? It's beautiful. All right, then let's get started. Maybe we can start with a few minutes of meditation, just 5 minutes. It'll be very nice to just introspect, settle down, come here, bring our mind back to the present moment. Very helpful. So it is just relax the body, relax the mind, be with the breath. And at any point, if you're not able to hear me well, please put it in the chat box and I'll be watching. I'll do something, anything that I can. I really don't want you to miss it. Okay, so let us come back to the present moment. Now close your eyes and just be with the breath. Normal, natural breathing. Breath is the life force. Let's connect to the natural breathing process. Let the thoughts come and go like passing clouds. Last 1 minute. Let the mind settle down. Present. Last 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Slowly place your palms on your eyes. And with a gentle, beautiful smile, you can open your eyes. That's nice. So it'll be very nice if we can see all of you because I know that so many of us are connected. We are here together today. It'll be very nice to look at each other and smile at each other. It's a beautiful thing that we can smile. Thank you. Thank you for honoring my request and turning on your cameras. It's beautiful. It's very nice to see you all. Oh, all right. So yesterday I have not completed the presentation. So let us get into some theory today first. And then we will do a longer practical than yesterday. We have a longer meditation after the theory. And it'll be very nice to have some questions. We can have a discussion. But after this, from yesterday's session, also, if you have any questions, please feel free to just put it in the chat box or raise your hand. I'll be happy to answer. Okay, so I hope you can all see the screen, see the slideshow presentation. So yesterday we stopped over here. We've learned about some of the inner child wounds that we carry from our from the time when we were in the mother's womb. If the parents were thinking of having a other gender, you know, like maybe they want a girl but it's a boy, but or they wanted a girl, boy that but it's a girl inside, then that one thought itself can bring a lot of wounds and all, and can change our behavior and all. But how do we know that, you know, they thought that way or not? Some of us know because our parents have shared with us. Some of us don't. And maybe that's not just the only reason for having inner child wounds. There are many reasons. How do we know that I have an inner child wound? I need to look at my inner child and connect to my inner child. How do we know that? So there are certain behaviors, certain things that we have observed in adults that indicate, that could be a signal that it is not the adult that is speaking, but the child within them, the wounded child within them. This inner child is a divine aspect. However, when that divinity or that purity is not reflected for various reasons, maybe the parents are in some stress, tension, they have a lot of work, they were not able to be there or understand in some situations. But no matter what the reason was, if there's a wound, there's a wound. How do we recognize that? So let's see some of the signs. Being reactive. Yes, many of us are reactive. And what we do is, instead of talking, instead of responding, we react. How does this, where did this come from? As a child, we did not know words, language. We gradually learned it. But before we learned language, what was our language? What is a baby's language to ask for food? Cry.
Cry.
Yeah, cry. And anyone else?
Uh,
Reacting maybe in general.
Reacting
Yes.
in general. Yes. And when they don't get what they want, like after maybe when they are a toddler now and they're not getting the toy that they want, what do?
They become
um,
angry.
Angry. And they do? They scream,
no,
Throw a tantrum.
Throw a tantrum.
throw tantrums, right? Throw tantrums, they scream, they throw their toys away, they'll do this, they'll do that. So that was a language that a child has had when they did not know how to speak. But after we are grown up, when we are a mature adult, how are we supposed to converse? We're supposed to normally converse with each other in this way. Yeah, I have this problem. So if I'm hungry and I'm a child, I'll cry. But when I'm a grown up, I have a language. Oh, I'm feeling very hungry, is how we can say that, right? Similarly, if we don't like something, and if we are screaming and shouting and yelling, whose language is that? Is it a child's language or a mature adult's
Our child, inner child.
language? Yes, that's right. You got the right answer. So that's how it is, friends. So if we find ourselves in this category of being reactive and throwing temper tantrums and screaming and all, we have the other person right in front of us, sitting maybe 3 feet away from us, but we scream when we are angry. Why do we do that? We want them to hear us. I understand, but as a mature adult, aren't we supposed to converse in a better way? We have many words in our dictionary in our mind registered by now, but we still do that because at that time, probably when we were young, when we were toddlers, we felt we were not heard. Maybe we felt our opinion is not valued, we are made fun of, or something like that. So, the only way this child registers, to get the attention of parents is to scream, yell, shout, cry, or please. So, this is one of those things, reactive. And then criticizing yourself. If we are constantly criticizing ourselves, that means maybe, most probably, in our childhood, there was a perfectionist parent or someone at home who was constantly criticizing us, maybe a teacher or close relative, constantly criticizing us. So whatever we hear in our childhood, whatever we constantly repeatedly hear about us, we register that as a child. This pure little innocent being believes everything that others say. If someone says, oh, look at your mom, how sad she is, did you do something, have you been naughty, they may be just kidding, but the child actually takes it seriously. They start thinking. We think that the children don't think much, but no, they think a lot, a lot. They take everything to heart, and they actually start feeling responsible for their parents' sadness, the parents' troubles, problems. And for a child, their parents are everything. In fact, at a conscious level, we don't realize, but subconsciously, for every child, even if we are grown up, for every single person, parents are like gods because they are the creators. We have come here onto this earth plane because of them. So, the visible gods for any child is their parent. And if parent is in trouble, that means they are in trouble. Who will take care of them? So they will do all that they can to make their parents happy. They love, children love parents as much as parents love children. Even, we can't compare. It is incomparable. So many people, still suffer and live in poverty, live in lack, just because their parents have not had abundance. Subconsciously, unconsciously, we take the patterns and problems of our parents as if we are solving their problem. It is not possible. It's not going to happen. Just because we take their problems, it's not reducing for them. So, you see, some of the people even take illnesses of their parents. Oh, one of my parents have had diabetes, I should have it. One of my parents have had cancer, I will also have it. Or even, bald hair or something, other things also. Unconsciously, we take a lot of things, but is that going to help them in any way? Is that going to reduce their burden, their pain, their illness? It will not. It never does, right? So, how do we realize it? But through meditation, we started living consciously. What we do in meditation is becoming aware, coming back to the present moment. So, when we come back to the present moment, we observe our thoughts, our behaviors, our beliefs, our life very closely, very consciously. So, when we do that, we start noticing these kind of patterns. Oh, why am I doing this? Why am I creating this kind of a pattern in my life? Why is this thing repeating in my life? So when we observe that, we can start changing. We can start finding the root cause where it is coming from, and then slowly we can change that. So criticizing yourself is part of the inner child wound. If a parent has been very critical. Like I was sharing the example yesterday, whenever I got 95 marks or 98 marks, my dad would say, oh, why not 100? Why didn't you get, where did the 2 marks go? So according to him, that was motivating, but it is not. It is very much critical. So that constant criticizing, that inner critic develops in the child at a very young age. And as they grow up, this inner critic actually tries to protect them before anyone else criticizes. So, what happens is in the head, there's a critic residing in your head all the time who has recorded all these words of your parents, your elders around you from childhood. Whoever has criticized for whatever you did, it's all registered in your mind, and it keeps telling you even before the other person judges you or criticizes you. Does it happen with you that you probably broke something by mistake and then you start criticizing yourself constantly? Oh my God, how did I not see it? I should have been more careful. How did I lose my phone? I used to lose my phone so often, so frequently. Every a few months, once my phone would be lost when I was in college. And constant criticism, that critical self develops, because of as part of the inner childhood. In childhood, if someone has been so critical, then that happens. Sarah, you raised your hand. You want to ask something?
Yes, just want to make sure of one concept I know. Um, is it true that we pass this also for the other generations? Yani we do the criticizing again for our kids?
Yes, that's true. We give what we get. So this phenomenon is called acting out phenomenon. So whatever we receive, we give that back. Not everyone does that. Some people actually suppress it within themselves, but many of us we do that. Like I have been criticized a lot by my dad. The example again that I gave, and I have done that a lot with my colleagues and my spouse, and I got really yeah, people started distancing from me. I noticed that they do not feel comfortable talking to me. And then I asked myself, what's happening? What am I doing? And I even spoke to them. I'm a very open, I love open conversations. So I started talking to them and I realized I got this feedback from them that I've been very critical. So then I realized that it's coming from my childhood and also. Yes, we do pass it on to our children as well. That's the reason yesterday I was telling someone not to focus on your children's inner child, but to focus on your own inner child. So, friends, when we heal our own inner child, it naturally is passed on to our children. When we carry our blocks, that's also passed on to our children. So, that's another important point why we should work on our inner child. Thank you for the question, Sarah. Feeling unloved. This is another thing, I would say I've had a lot. Is someone trying to say something? All right. Okay.
I want to ask something about.
Yes.
You said that we take our illnesses from our parents,
Yes.
and I was child. I was saying, I have the same illnesses as my dad.
Mm.
If my inner child is healed, will these illnesses stay with me, or they will be healed too?
It's quite possible. I have seen many people who have healed their inner child, and thus their illness has been healed. Even if you've heard of Louis Hay, the famous author of the book You Can Heal Your Life, even she speaks about the inner child and inner child wounds and how she has worked on her inner child when she got cancer. So it is quite possible. So it depends on how intensely and deeply we are doing this work. We can do it, Fatima. It's very much possible.
Okay, thank you.
Yes. So feeling unloved. This is another thing I've also carried a lot, and anything would happen. Like, for example, someone ate my favorite sweet. I would tell them, "Oh, you don't love me. Nobody loves me. That's why you ate my sweet." Or if I break a glass or something, "Oh, nobody loves me. That's why the glass is broken." And I caught myself one day saying this in my mind, and I was like, how is this related to someone loving me or not? Then I realized that this is such a deep wound that I'm carrying. So we need to constantly be aware of what kind of thoughts are running in our head, and then we can catch it. We can understand what kind of wounds we are carrying. So when we feel unloved, when we feel that nobody loves me or my parents don't love me, see, for a child, parents are everything, right? So if they feel that any one of the parent doesn't love them, that means in their entire world, nobody loves them. So children are really naive and very innocent. So they generalize things. They maximize the small things also, and they make it the entire world for them. So when we feel unloved, we stop loving ourselves also. And when we stop loving ourselves, we don't take care of ourselves. We don't do things for ourselves. We don't eat healthy. We don't cultivate healthy habits. We constantly, complain about life. And no matter how much even the spouse is giving us or friends are giving us, we will not be able to receive it. That's a very sad thing, friends. I have really noticed this in many of my friends, and I have also experienced this myself. I've noticed that, spouses are trying to love and share their love a lot, but this person is constantly, the one who feels unloved, is constantly complaining, oh, you don't love me because you didn't do that, you didn't do this. But what about all the things that they did, they are doing? We will fail to look at those things. Like I said about the colored lens yesterday, our perspective is always like, no, 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 I'm not loved, I'm not loved, I'm not loved. Only when we remove these glasses, only when we can heal this aspect, we can really see the love that is shared by everyone around us, not just the people, but the nature itself. How much love is there in the nature? Why will the trees give us any fruits at all? Why will the universe take care of us? No matter what, we are always having abundance of oxygen to breathe. It's never ending. We will start seeing the love that's being shared all around us all the time once we heal this aspect. And then possessiveness. If we are possessive, that is also a sign that we have an inner child wound. Why? Because possessiveness comes from fear, fear of losing the loved ones, or fear that the loved ones will um, distance away from me. Maybe in childhood, this child is constantly being teased, ki, oh, if you don't do this, I'm going to go away. I'll go away from the house. I'm going on a tour. I'll leave you here. Or, parents sometimes in their anger, they say, maybe they went to a mall and the child is really gripping and crying for a toy. The parent is like, no, no, you have enough toys now. If you start doing this, I'm going to leave you here in the mall and I'm going to go home. Child starts feeling that, oh, my mom is actually going to do this. What will happen to me? They have a lot of fear. They are dependent. Human children are not like animal children. Animal babies, they can start, feeding on themselves. They can start walking by themselves in just a few days. But humans are not like that. Children are dependent on parents for several years. And in these many years, any threat to their survival, to them being taken care of from the parent, is like a danger, caution for them. So that fear stays in their heads and they start being so possessive. They are like, no, 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 you stay with me. Even if the parent is going somewhere, they don't want them to go. They'll always constantly say, no, mama, don't go anywhere. No, daddy, don't go anywhere. So this develops to be possessiveness later on. There's a fear behind it, and they will not let them do anything. They'll not let them talk to anybody else, be loving to anyone else, because they are like, now they start fearing that if the parent shares their love to someone else, there'll be not enough for them. So I'll give this away to someone. So this kind of things can cause this kind of a possessive feeling for us. And feeling neglected as a child, not just as a child, friends. I will share this experiment with you all about water. I wonder if you have heard of this person. He is a Japanese scientist named Masaru Emoto. Yeah, he has done extensive research about water molecules. It's beautiful. If you get time, please do search on Google and read his research and just look at those photos. You will be amazed. He just started with a microscopic lens. He started looking at water molecules and he found that water actually makes beautiful shapes like snowflakes. Where did the snowflake come from? It's water, right? So how come? And it is said that no two snowflakes are the same. There's a difference. They are all unique. How does that happen? So there was an experiment conducted by this person, Masaru Emoto. He has taken cooked rice in 3 jars. Okay, in 3 jars, and he has kept it in. It's the same rice cooked at the same time, same kind of rice. It's just filled in 3 glass jars and he has kept it. You can also find this experiment done by so many people. It's kept on YouTube and is there all over Google. Okay, so these 3 jars are there. One jar, on one of the jars, he has written, I love you. On the other, he's written, I hate you. On the third one, some people do other things, but I have read about one research. The third one is not, nothing is written on it, and it is just left like that. Now, it is said to some children in the house to go to these jars and say what is written on them. So, every single day, children in the house and people in the house would go to these jars and say to the first one, I love you, with a feeling. And to the second jar, I hate you. I really hate you. You disgust me. And the third one is just ignored. Gradually, they saw that the same rice started changing in different colors and different forms. It's the same thing, cooked at the same time, kept stored in the same kind of jars. Nothing's changed. It's just the words and the thoughts of this person who's saying that. So what happened is, as you can probably guess, the jar that says "I love you," it's still fine. It's still white. And the white rice in that is still a little yellowish after 10 days, after 15 days, after 1 month also. It is, it's, of course it's rotten, but it is yellowish and whitish. And the second jar has turned brown. The one that says, I hate you, has turned brown and blackish and all. Imagine or guess what happened to the third one that is totally ignored. Do you think it was somewhat better than I hate you or worse? I want to know from you, maybe in the chat box. So someone tried this once. Yes. So Manisha says worse. Yes. Any other guesses? Better. Marcus says better. Okay. What else do you think? Worse because of neglection. Worse, worse, worse. Yes, yes. Yes. So most of you have guessed what I'm trying to say here. Feeling neglected is the worst thing you can imagine. Worse than the negative words. It was worse. It was totally black. It turned totally black. Imagine the same rice in this jar is white or yellowish, and this is black, pitch black. How is that even possible? Even I have tried it in my home, and it actually happened. It worked. Any of us can try. It's just up to us. So, feeling neglected is the worst thing we can do to a child, neglecting a child. If the child is feeling neglected, they will feel very lonely and they start developing this many kind of things later on, depression, and they can get into drugs, they can get into a lot of addictions because they feel like nobody's there for me. Nobody's there for me. So it's a really sad thing. Not understood. So if our opinion is not understood, nor if the child feels not understood, maybe the child is trying to communicate something, and we are in a busy conversation with a friend who just visited the house, let's say, and the child is trying to say something, Mama, this is what has happened, and this is what, but we are just ignoring and we are saying, yeah, yeah, I got it, I'm listening to you, but we are not actually paying attention to them. Child understands that and they feel, oh, my mom doesn't understand me. Or they are trying to convey something and we are not fully listening to them and we are doing something else. Then also the child feels not understood and that could be dangerous as well. Feeling unworthy. If we are feeling unworthy, I shared about unworthiness yesterday a little bit. Our self worth matters a lot, friends. Our self worth is so important. If we don't feel worthy, We will not attract abundance. We will not feel worthy of good health. We will not feel worthy of a right partner. We will not feel worthy of all the goodness in life. We will reject life itself. But where is this coming from? We need to know. We need to understand. Is Amina trying to say something? Okay. I guess not. Okay. Next thing is feeling of not belonging. Every person belongs to the family. No matter what they did in the past, no matter what they are doing right now, no matter how they are, every family member belongs to the family. That's their birthright. They are born in this family, so they belong. We can't exclude anybody. What is excluded will be included in some way or the other. So, in childhood, if something has happened, maybe something like I have heard of some clients who come to us who were constantly told that after you are born, we've had so many losses, or after you're born, your mother left, or something like that. Then the child feels, oh, I don't belong. I'm not. I'm not worthy to be in this family. I better not belong. It is like a disconnect that happens to this child. Certain words, behaviors, thoughts, they really affect the child a lot. So if we feel that we don't belong, maybe we are teased just like that, just for fun. For example, I am a darker complexion than my sister in my family. So I was constantly teased that, oh, you don't belong to this family, you were adopted, and this and that. That they were doing for fun, but the child won't understand that. Child will only think that, oh, I don't belong. I don't belong to this family. Nobody likes me. So that feeling of not belonging can lead to a lot of other things. Even feeling of unloved, not these are all related, friends, related to each other. And these things can lead to dangerous actions after they grow up. For example, a person who doesn't feel loved, doesn't feel belonging in the family, will go to anybody who gives them a little bit of love, who gives them a feeling of belongingness. They'll do anything that the other person says. Maybe there's a friend, there's a classmate who says, oh, you're pretty, you're beautiful, you're this, you're that. And they start believing it. And they will follow whatever they say. That can lead to dangerous consequences, right? And regrets in life later on. So this feeling of not belonging could be a sign, and then unsafe feelings. Like I was giving another example right earlier. If the parents are constantly saying, threatening the child that no, if you do it this way, I'm not going to tolerate, or I'm going to leave you, I'm going to put you in a hostel, I'm going to send you to your aunt's place, or I'm going to lock you up. Child doesn't feel safe. The only place they feel safe is in the arms, in the hug, and in the presence of the parents. And if the parents themselves, in their anger, start saying such things, it hurts the child very deeply. And they feel they're not safe. The world is not a safe place. There's nobody I can rely on. These things can develop, these thoughts can develop. Anxiety to do something new. So in childhood, if suddenly you were shifted from one place to another, maybe you had to leave the old city or this house, and you had to move to a new place, but they didn't inform you. Parents did not inform the child. They thought, okay, it's just a child, he won't understand anything. It's an important decision that we have to make. So parents have discussed amongst each other. And just one fine day, you were sleeping and you woke up in a new place. or you did not like the new place, but you had to go there in childhood, forced to go there, or maybe the school has moved, or like you've changed the school. All your old friends are there in the other school, and you're feeling like, I don't want to be here. Then what happens is there's a fear and anxiety that is developed in this child for new things, new experiences. As they grow up, they start fearing new experiences. But life is full of changes. The only thing that's constant is change, right? And it will be very difficult for such people who carry this anxiety to adapt to changes. There are so many changes happening in the world right now, even natural changes. There are no rains in rainy season. There's no heat in summers. There's a lot of new things happening. We did not expect COVID. It happened. Change is a very difficult thing for people who have anxiety to do something new, and this needs to be healed, addressed. Trying to prove yourself. If you are constantly trying to prove yourself and to tell, prove to the other person that no, I am good enough, I am worthy enough, I can do this. Why just men? Even as a woman, I can do this. Or why should only these people do it? I can also do it. So if we are constantly trying to prove something to someone or the other or to ourselves, that is an indication that we don't feel worthy. We feel like we have to constantly please or uh, prove our worth to the other person to stay where we are, to get the approval, to get the recognition, or to get that attention and to stay connected. So if we are constantly trying to prove ourselves, that's a lot of stress. It's like you're constantly running on a treadmill. We will be very tired and we start falling sick. So that's another thing. Imbalance of emotions, emotional imbalance. I believe that most of us do have this imbalance because, of course, we are not educated at a very young age how to handle our emotions and all. So look into it today. So if we have a lot of imbalance of emotions, we are not able to control our anger and we just burst out, or we are not able to stop crying. I used to be like a crybaby, as I said. So I used to cry for everything, crying, crying, crying. So if that's another imbalance of moods, or we are constantly upset about something or the other and we drag it for hours, days together, we will not leave it. We will not let go of the situation. That is an imbalance that can also create illnesses. And of course, our mental peace is totally disturbed. Struggling to say no. This is another dangerous thing, friends. If anyone has a problem in saying no, that could lead to very not very healthy things, I must say. So I have seen many women who were not able to say no to someone's advances and they regretted it later. There was a friend of mine who was in a relationship, and I asked her, what is it that made you get into this relationship? She said, to be frank, I just couldn't say no when he proposed to me. I was really shocked. I couldn't say no. That's why I'm in this relationship. Now what? Okay, now that you realize that, would you like to say that? Are you happy in this relationship? She said, not really, but it's okay. I'll manage now that I've committed to it. So that's no reason to stay in a relationship, right? Not that they should break up or anything, but as long as they're happy, of course, it's good. But we should not do anything just because we can't say no. I can't say no, so I'll go for a movie with you. I can't say no, so I'll do this chore for you. Can't say no, so I'll take care of your kids or your pets, or I'll do your work, your job for you. That is going to be a torture for ourselves. That's another way not to love ourselves. It's like we are constantly trying to please the other person and get the approval of the other person. Otherwise, what will happen if this friend leaves me? She won't talk to me if I don't do this. If I say no, they'll think it's rude. What will happen if it's rude? If they really can't understand you, that it is a choice that you made, that you would not like to do something, and if you're being gentle and polite and saying that, and still the other person can't understand that really means something, right? That means that the other person actually doesn't understand you. So it's okay. They may be hurt or upset for a while, but in a long run, it's going to create healthy boundaries for ourselves. If we are not able to say no, that means we don't have healthy boundaries. This could be coming from our childhood when our boundaries were not respected, friends. This is another important aspect that many people don't talk about. If in childhood our boundaries were not respected, maybe we had a room for ourselves, but parents would just barge in, no knocking or anything. Or they would constantly check your phone or your belongings. And, or there was a wrong touch in childhood. And as a child doesn't understand what is happening when there is a abuse or a wrong touch happening to them. Child doesn't know what to say. It's usually a very close relative or a friend or someone very known. So the child doesn't know. And later the child starts feeling guilty for what is not even their fault. So this way, if someone else has barged into our boundaries in childhood, they've not respected our boundaries, then as we grow up to be adults, we don't know how to say no. We don't know what is a healthy boundary. So either we also do not respect the other person's boundaries. So all those who are not respecting others' boundaries, and we get pissed off and frustrated, how can they not even know that, it's not their business? We keep getting irritated at some people, right? Maybe they were not respected in their childhood, their boundaries were not respected. So that's when they also become like that, because they don't know what is a healthy boundary, or they completely close down, they completely shut down. So these are some things that are like signs. So there are some comments I would like to see. Yes, it's very common in women that they can't say no. That's true. I learned to say no last year. Okay, that's beautiful, Stephanie. Manisha says, I also cannot say no to others. I feel like it's my responsibility to not make the other person hurt because of me. Yeah. Yes, Manisha. It's also our responsibility to not hurt ourselves by doing something that we do not like. It's like disrespecting our own choice. And sometimes people say, it's okay, there's no harm in doing what they want me to do, so let me just do it. Yeah, there's no harm in doing it probably in certain situations, but if you don't want to do it, it is okay to say that. It's okay to respect your own choice. It's okay, perfectly fine. You are worthy. Your opinion matters. Our opinions matter, all of our opinions. It is okay to say that. Only when we draw our healthy boundaries, the others will be able to respect us. When we don't have our healthy boundaries, it's like we are opening for everyone to come into our house. Anyone can come and take anything and go. That's not healthy, isn't it? And Ilani says, I cannot say no to others. I think they misunderstand me. Yes. So thank you for sharing, dear friends. This helps me to guide you a little more. Not that I know something better, just because I have been doing this inner child work from more than a decade. So maybe I can just suggest something. So thanks for sharing, Indranuji, that You think they misunderstand you. So now you can introspect and check within what will happen if they misunderstand me. So this is how we track our beliefs, friends. We should ask, we should question our thoughts. So I think they misunderstand me. So what is behind that? What will happen if they misunderstand me? Or if they misunderstand me, they will leave me, maybe. For example, okay, what will happen if they leave you? Or if they leave me, I'll be all alone. What will happen if you're all alone? Then I'll become lonely. Just for an example, I'm saying this is how we should track our beliefs. So finally, our actual fear behind not saying no is we don't want to be lonely. We are afraid of being lonely. We are scared that people will leave me and I'll be all alone. So this is how we can track to the core belief. We all have core beliefs which are very important for us to understand. Okay, so you can check that for yourself. You can't say no to any person. Others are the same. It's not important to understand you. Stephanie is saying it's not important to understand you. I did not understand this, Stephanie. If you would like to explain, is that what someone told you? Maybe? I can easily say no to others. Someone says, "Oh, great, that's amazing." So we can learn from you. Amazing. All right, so let's go to the next slide. Hmm. These are certain things that I've already shared, but a little bit more in detail. Your inner child is also that part of you which carries emotional pain experienced from childhood. Not just, that innocent, little, joyful, bubbly, jumping, happy child. That's what we spoke about yesterday. That is the actual nature of the true nature of the inner child. However, when this inner child is wounded, this wounded inner child is carrying that childhood trauma, emotional pain, and many experiences from childhood. And this wounded inner child is acting from those wounds even today. Even though we are 35, 45, 60, however old we may be, even now, our behaviors, our fears, our words, our actions, everything is controlled by this fearful, wounded inner child. That's the reason it's important to address to these things. So some people used to ask us, they still do, and even I have asked this question to Dr. Newton when I attended Inner Child Retreat. Why should we go back and dig the past? For this reason, friends, because we are living the past every single moment. We are never in the present moment, really. We're actually living the past. In childhood, something happened. So, in order to not repeat that, today we are having walls around us. We are totally closed. Our hearts are closed. We don't want to feel the pain. We don't want to get into a relationship sometimes just because, oh, relationships are too painful. Where did this belief come from? It's not just from your teenage, maybe it's from childhood, maybe. Because teenage is also part of the inner child cycle. I'll show you that later. Okay. So there's this cycle that we all have, we need to look into. So there's a fear in childhood, let's say something that you're afraid of. And this fear leads to shame. Oh, I have, I have done this out of fear. I have made this mistake. Why should be so shameful? How could I do this? And then we get into guilt. Oh, how could I do this? I shouldn't have done that. I'm so guilty. And then we get into anger. But I did this because of that person, or because this thing did not happen. And then we exclude everybody, we become lonely. Again, we are in fear. After we get lonely, we're like, oh, what if nobody talks to me because of this? This is a constant cycle. And we constantly put ourselves in a lockup and keep on saying things to ourselves. Nobody criticizes us as much as we do ourselves. Do you know that? If you observe your thoughts and you note down your thoughts, friends, you will notice that a lot of things that we are upset about. Oh, that person said this, that person did this to me. They did only once. But how many times have you repeated it in your mind? At least 100 times. So who's actually causing more harm? Person or the self? This is how our mind goes in circles all the time. And these feelings represent how we reacted to circumstances when we were too young to question things in life. Like I was saying, we were too young to speak up, to ask, to question. We did not know, is this true what I'm thinking? Are you suffering because of me? Are you really going to leave me? We were too young to question, is this right? What you are behaving, is this right? We couldn't question at that time. But we are still carrying it today when we can actually question. And now, the person to question is not someone else outside of us. It's ourselves, it's our own thoughts, our own mind. Whenever we are triggered by situations in the present and we overreact automatically, we are in child mode, reacting to old painful emotions. Like I was just mentioning, whenever we are reacting and throwing things away, screaming, shouting, getting really upset, we think it's the ego and all. It's actually maybe the ego, but mainly the wounded child. We are in child mode. And we are not reacting to what's happening right now, friends. We're actually reacting to the old painful emotions that are still unresolved. Some of us react by trying to suppress those feelings through drinking, drugging ourselves, overeating, shopping, or sleeping. Anyone resonates with that? I have seen all kinds of experiences of people. They come and say, oh, I overeat. I don't know why. I can't control myself. And when we ask them some questions about childhood and all, either they were physically molested or abused. So what happens is, how is overeating and obesity, not in all cases, but in some cases or most cases, related to childhood abuse, is in childhood, this child is so pretty and this and that, and they were touched in a wrong way. So what happens is this child develops a protective mechanism. Oh, if I'm cute and if I'm looking beautiful, then people are going to cross the boundaries. So let me become not so beautiful. I will not be attractive anymore. Sorry, does anyone want to say something? Okay. So this is what we have observed, friends. It's not my judgment. It has been observed not just by me, but by many, many inner child practitioners and experts in this field. There's Alice Miller. There's a famous book by Alice Miller. There's this another author called John Bradshaw. Beautiful books by them. If we refer to them, we will see all kinds of defense mechanisms we use to get out of our inner child wounds. And the same goes with shopping. I used to be a shopaholic. To get love, I was like sometimes what happens is parents do not have time. They are, of course, struggling and earning for their children to give them a better future. But what children need is not a better future, more than a better future, the present moment, these beautiful, precious moments with parents. We will not get the childhood back. We will not get those experiences back. We will probably have a better future in case of luxury or comfort, but not really that love, right? So in childhood, whenever my parents used to go out away from me for days together or, for a long time, they would get me a gift. Doesn't that happen with many of us? So what happens is we start equating things with love. So we ask for more. We ask for more, more, more. And this thirst is never quenched and never fulfilled because things are not actually what we want. It's love. And some people get into oversleeping. How is that going to help? Yeah, it's going to help by avoiding reality. Maybe reality is too painful for them. So I know a person who was sent away to grandma's place when he was just a few months old baby because the parents were too young when they've had a baby and they were not able to manage. So, and also financially, of course, it was a tough situation for them. So they've sent this baby to grandma's place. Grandma has taken great care. Grandma loves this child a lot. But as this child grew up, he has this tendency to oversleep or overwork, workaholic. That is also another addiction. No matter what it is, how useful it may be, if we are overdoing it, it is like not healthy for us, right? So when he went back and saw the childhood and all, he sensed that those painful feelings and emotions of this child who was given away to grandma. This child started feeling, oh, my parents don't love me, they don't want me. That's why they are sending me away. Child doesn't understand, right? No matter how much poverty is there, child wants to be with parents. That is the richest thing that the child can have. That's a luxurious thing. Mother's lap. No other thing can replace. So that oversleeping tendency could be avoiding life. If there are too many conflicts in the house, children don't want to see. They get glasses at a very young age. I don't want to see. Hearing problems because I don't want to hear loud screamings. Yeah. So ear related problems or throat related problems because I can't express. Nobody is listening to me anyway. My voice is not heard. My opinion is not heard. They will do anyway whatever they want to do. So what is the point in expressing? So this kind of thing leads to throat related issues. So we can just become aware and just look within could help us. We may turn inward and become depressed or turn outward and attack with anger or rage or with panic attacks. So these are some kinds of reactions that we take up. We have these wounds. It can feel like your whole being is feeling that way, but it is only a part of you, a very young part. So when the situation is actually happening, and we are reacting. We feel that we are actually reacting to that situation. No, no, it's got nothing to do with childhood. Right now, this person is behaving so foolishly. That's the reason I'm reacting. That's what we feel. Our entire being feels like, no, no, no. It's not a childhood thing. But if we just calm down, take some time, pause, and go back to when we felt last time the same way. When was the last time you felt the same way? Then you will start finding that there's a pattern. That wounded little boy or girl that is reacting and running our lives at that time to situations. So, to connect to our inner child, there's this outer protection layer that we need to break. As we grow our friends, We don't want to show our true self. We feel that by showing my true self, by being authentic, people will take advantage of me. How many of us feel that way? Many of us do, right? We don't want to say what we are actually feeling, or be who we really are. We can say things in a very beautiful way. You don't have to hurt others. We can still be authentic. But what we do instead, because we don't know, because we are afraid of being attacked or having a negative experience, so we create this outer protection layer around us as we grow up. And inside that outer protection layer, once you get into it, is vulnerability. There's this vulnerable side of you, part of you, self. Your vulnerable self is there. Like, only if you break this hard wall of outer protection, you can see that sensitive side of you. And many of us don't want to see that, don't want to touch that vulnerable side because we are afraid of pain. But let us experience the pain and let it go for once and for all. It's not that later you will not feel any pain at all, but at least you will not carry that same old past pain and wound for years together. You don't need to. We don't need to. We deserve much better. So let us break this outer protection here, and at least for ourselves, it's okay if you don't want to show it to the world. It's okay. You don't have to until we are ready. And at the right place, of course. We don't have to show it to all. And then once we touch the vulnerable side of ourselves, we will understand ourselves even better. And then comes being in course. This vulnerability is the inner child part of us. This being in core is a true self within us, each one of us. And that part is very wise, very wise. This being within us knows it all. It knows everything about us. It can guide us in the right direction. It can give us the right wisdom. But we are not able to tap this being, this inner wisdom, this innate wisdom. And this being, this core, this whatever you call it, this true self of ours is actually connected with everybody around us. We're all connected to each other. There's an invisible network, there's an invisible web all over the earth. And I don't know where else. All of us are connected. Okay, it might feel like I'm talking too spiritual, but just one simple question to all of you. If you're going somewhere on road and you have seen a dog or a person or a bird, any being hurt, wounded, and suffering a lot, how do you feel? Don't we all feel that sadness? A part of that suffering touches us also. How does that happen? That person is a stranger, or that being is a unknown, never seen. But we feel that sadness, don't we? We feel that pain. How do we do that? How do we feel that? Did we try to feel it? No, it is instant. Because we are all connected. That invisible network, that web, is there no matter if we are aware or not, if we believe it or not. It is there. And it is very wise. It really helps us build authentic, true connections. It helps us build an authentic life itself. It helps us remove all our unnecessary masks and live freely. It's such a burden to carry so many masks, isn't it? And we did not even know that we are carrying so much of burden and baggage. And now that you know, don't we want to be free, feel light? So that is what we are going to do once we touch this vulnerable side by breaking out of protection and let ourselves feel what we are feeling. And Get to those vulnerable emotions, either it be sadness, fear, fright, whatever it is. Allow yourself to feel it in today's meditation. And we will not go too deep into the emotions because this is an online session, and in case the network disconnects or anything happens, of course from my side it is strong, but in case anything happens, and we don't want to leave you like that. So it's going to be a very light session where we are going to connect to some good memories and some sad memories, a little bit of sadness, not too much, not too traumatic. Okay. And we will touch upon both of them. We'll just feel it fully and we'll come back. Okay. So that's the session we're going to do today. Are you all ready? I hope you are. Yes, please. Okay. Yes, that's great. All right. So I was just checking the chat box to make sure that you're all ready. So it seems like you're all ready. Thank you. So let us get into the meditation today. And at any point, any one of you feel like my voice is not audible or anything, please feel free to just post, increase volume, anything. I don't want to, but I'll make sure that you will not be disturbed from your meditation today because this is important. Well, thank you, Stephanie. Thank you so much. All right, so let's get started. Let's all just be seated in a comfortable posture. However, you're comfortable. If you want to lie down, that's also fine. But just make sure you're not going to sleep. Comfortably, and you don't necessarily have to clasp your fingers, but if that's comfortable, you do it. Otherwise, also it's fine. However, you're comfortable. Just stay cool in your body. And close your eyes. Relax your mind, body. Allow yourself to relax fully. With your breath. There's nothing to worry about or feel tensed about. You don't have to remember anything. You don't have to try anything at all. Your subconscious will reveal whatever is required for you, whatever is most helpful for you. Just trust and let go. Let go of any thoughts, tension, anything. Take a deep breath, inhale, and let go. Exhale. If you'd like to do it 2 more times, you can do that. As you relax, allow yourself to connect to this place of nature, this beautiful place that you have visited yesterday in your meditation, or any other place that's most comfortable for you. Just feel yourself. You don't have to see anything. You don't have to visualize anything, imagine anything. Allow yourself to feel. It could be a sensation, it could be a feeling that going into this place of nature. This place could be something that you have already visited or something totally new that you've never been to. This is your comfort zone. This is your serene spot where you're most comfortable, most relaxed. Nobody's going to disturb you. No sounds from the outside or nothing is going to disturb your peace here. Fully at ease, all by yourself. Just walk around and feel this beautiful place. Grass under your feet, breeze in your hair, your face, birds chirping, beautiful sights of trees and flowers, fruits, all that you like. Maybe there are mountains far away or some hills. Maybe. Be there fully, experience it. Allow your body to experience it. Explore the place, whatever you want. You want to play, jump, or lie down, sit, anything. It's your place. Up to you. Now, at a distance, just maybe around 20 feet away from you, you can see a bridge. This bridge is taking you somewhere. Try to go near the bridge, approach the bridge, walk towards it, and as you get on the bridge, you realize that the other end of the bridge is going to take you to your past, your childhood. Start walking on this bridge. And as you go closer, start feeling that childhood home. You start experiencing your childhood. As I count from 5 to 1, know yourself. Go to the other side by the count of 1. 5. Going closer to your childhood. Each memory is revealing itself. 4. 3. Connect to your childhood home where you've had most precious memories from your childhood. Anything that comes up first. There are 2, 3 memories coming up. Just choose one. Anything is fine. 2 and 1. Feel yourself being in this childhood home. How is this place looking like? Who all are there in this house? Try to look around. Enter the house and see what's happening. Can you see your childhood self? Try to find where you are. How old were you? Now connect to a memory that has happened in this house. Could be a good positive memory or a somewhat negative memory. Just watch it. Witness it happening right now, right in front of you. Your childhood self, your inner child, is going through this experience right now. How do you feel when you're watching it? Just feel whatever you're feeling without judgment. Experience your feelings fully. Take your own time. Observe the situation. Now, allow yourself to detach from this incident, from this memory, slowly. Detach from this memory. Now, connect to another memory from your childhood. This time, connect to a happy memory, pleasant memory, a very happy one from your childhood. Could be of any age. What's happening? What's the first thing that you remember? Observe that. Get into this memory and feel it fully. What's happening? Get the details. All are there sharing these happy moments with you. How old are you? Where exactly are you? Feel the joy of this inner child. Feel the happiness. Share the happiness. Feel it fully. Let your entire body experience this happiness, this joy. Relive that moment, those moments. Experience those moments. Now, one more time, allow yourself to detach from this memory. Carry that happiness in your heart as you detach yourself from this happy memory. Now, allow yourself to move to another childhood memory. Maybe you were much younger this time, less than 5 years old. And this time, allow yourself to connect to a sad memory. The subconscious knows which one to bring up. You have to choose, don't choose something too painful, something sad. It will pop up on its own. Observe this memory. from a distance, and then gradually get into it. Enter the situation, observe the details. What's happening? Feel what you're feeling. What exactly is going on? Allow yourself to feel these painful emotions. It's okay to feel it. It's okay to experience it. Only when we experience it fully, it will dissolve. Feel it fully. Is someone scolding you? Is someone saying words that are hurtful to you or punishing you? Feel what you're feeling in this moment. As if you are there right now, as if you are that child experiencing it right now. Now this child who experiences feelings through your body, your emotions. If tears are rolling around, it's okay. Let it come out. If you're feeling anger, it's okay. Feel it in your body. Where exactly are you feeling this anger? Which part of your body? Feel it fully. Observe the changes in your breath, in your body, in your expressions. Observe your thoughts. What kind of beliefs are forming in that moment because of the situation, because of this sad incident? What are you starting to believe? What are you starting to believe about yourself, about the people around you, about life? Notice these thoughts, notice these beliefs. Ask yourself, are you still carrying those beliefs as a grown up adult? Are they still affecting your life right now? Is it what is repeating in your life? Is this still happening in your life? Now, If it gets too painful, you can detach yourself from these feelings. Take only as much as you can. Be compassionate towards yourself. You don't have to go beyond your measure, beyond what you can take. Only as much as you can, comfortably. Just observe your beliefs and detach yourself from your inner child and look at your inner child in front of you who has just gone through a sad situation. How is this inner child feeling? Try to understand and listen to this child's feelings. What does this child want to share, want to say, or do? Maybe there is nobody else that this child can share with, but you are there right now. Let this child share those feelings with you without any judgment, without any suggestion. Be there fully for your child, for your inner child. And tell this inner child of yours, my dear one, no matter what, I am there. No matter what happened in the past, I'm there for you. I'm coming from your future. We survived. We are stronger now. We have gone through this kind of tough situations and still we are a better human being. I understand your pain. I understand your sadness, your feelings. I'm so sorry for what has happened to you. From now onwards, I will always be there for you. I will take care of you. I love you. And I will always love you for exactly the way you are. You may not be able to change the past, but we don't have to carry it together. We can create a better life together. We are going to live happily, joyfully. We are strong. We are stronger than we know. My dear inner child, trust me. I really love you. And I'm there for you. And you can also tell your inner child that whatever belief that this child started carrying from that situation onwards, we can let go of it. If it is about trust, tell your inner child, we can trust again. There are trustworthy people. It is about being unloved. You can say, you are loved, you are heard, you are taken care of, you are valuable, you are understood. It is about abandonment. You can say, I will never abandon you. No matter what, I will always, always be there for you. I really mean it. And whatever you feel from your heart, say those words to your inner child. Give that assurance to this innocent part of you, this little innocent being started believing that the entire life is so traumatic. But tell her, tell him that it's not so. You can change it. We've had good memories as well. We've had good moments as well. We've had wonderful people touching our lives. We've experienced so much of love from people known and unknown. We've experienced so much of support, care, and all good things also in life. Tell your inner child and give them that assurance that you will take care. A few moments to be there for your inner child. Hug them, give them all the love. Now look at your inner child and see how she's feeling, how he's feeling. This inner child is always going to be there within you. Now let this healed part of you, healed inner child of you, with all the love and care and understanding, be integrated into your heart. Feel her presence. Feel his presence in the heart. Together, once again, detach from that old memory and allow yourself to come back to this place of nature. Cross the bridge one more time come back to this place of nature. Bring your inner child back over here and you can spend some time playing with your inner child here. This is your place, your private space. Ask your inner child what all she likes. Kind of games. Do you like swing? Do you like voting? Do you like to play hide and seek? Or shall we play with balloons? What's your favorite game? Let's play together. Or if you'd like to sing together, you can sing. Or maybe dance. Sing. Let the song come out from your heart. Let the love flow from your heart. Feel the connection between the two of you. Know that this part of you will always be there within you. With all the joy and happiness, hug your inner child one more time. Let her go back into your heart. Tell your inner child that I'll be visiting you very often now onwards. Thank you for coming, meeting me. Thank you for trusting me. We'll be together. We'll heal together. Love you, my dear. And with a deep breath, allow yourself to come back from this space of nature to this present moment. Bring your awareness back as I count from 1 to 5. At the count of 5, and fully feel your body, your present room, temperature, surroundings. 1, back with all the insights. 2, feel the difference. Joy, feel the transformation. 3, knowing that this connection will always be. 4, leaving all the unnecessary baggage behind, coming back freely. And 5, Feel your body, freshness in your face. Feel your surroundings. And you can start moving a little bit, maybe start wiggling your fingers, and whenever you're ready, you can place your palms on your eyes. You open your eyes. Whenever you're ready, take your own time. It's beautiful. I hope all of you have been able to connect, at least to an extent, to a level. If anyone wants to share, you're most welcome. Happy to hear your experience. If you want to take some time, that's also good. Yeah, have some water, and if you would like to write down your experience, that would be helpful too. Yes, even the chat box is a good place to post. Yeah, someone's saying great, awesome. So I hope you've had a good experience and all of you are back in the present. If any of you are feeling a little bit of heaviness or anything, that's fine. It's going to subside gradually. Part of the process. Yeah. So someone's asking, Nabila is asking how much time we need for this therapy. Not in one time. Yes, it is not going to happen, not the entire childhood is not going to be healed in one session for sure. But there are some important aspects, some important incidents from childhood, right, which affect us the most. So we are going to connect only to them. And because this is an online session, I've just touched upon the layers, sadness, and that's all. We did not go deeper into trauma or anything. If any of you have connected to the trauma, then that's the reason I've given you a suggestion that don't go too deep. If it is too painful, you can just detach yourself. So we've not done it. But if you feel the need to touch upon other memories also, you can go for a session, individual session with a trained, certified inner child facilitator, or you can attend any of the online intensive programs that we conduct from Quantum Life University. That would be very helpful. So yes, so yeah.
Eric, can you share with us?
Yeah. Yes.
Can you share with us how can we do that?
Yeah. So Sarah, that's a good question. So obviously we want to heal our inner child. So we want to know how we can do it on our own after we go back, after the session is over. So I have some techniques for all of you, which I would like to share, which I apply for myself, and it's been very helpful for me. And I have also suggested to some of our clients, and it's been very, very powerful for them. It sounds very simple, but it is powerful, effective. So, what you can do is from now onwards, every day, try to take out at least a few minutes, maybe 2, 3 minutes to begin with, and gradually maybe 5 minutes to 10 minutes to stay in touch with your inner child. I would say 5 to 10 minutes minimum is better. Every day, take some time out to stay in touch with your inner child. So, how can you do this? One way is mirror work. So, what this is something that I have not read anywhere, but I have just done it on my own. What you can do is you can just look into the mirror and into your own eyes, because eyes are like the windows, right? You can see your true self through your eyes. So you look into your eyes and start talking to your inner child. So in yesterday's session, you have asked what's your name. So some of our inner children, they want to be called with our pet name, maybe something that we were called as a child. So, or some of us will have the same name. That's also fine. So whatever is comfortable for your inner child, call yourself with that name, looking into the mirror, and talk to yourself. Start making friendship with yourself. It sounds weird. Initially, it's like, what am I doing? It's like I've gone crazy, but it's not so. I have done this time and again, and believe me, friends, the one who was scared of telling her name in front of 30 people is now talking in front of thousands of people. I can get on the stage and talk about all that I know. I can share. That happened mainly because of regular inner child work that I did. And my main practice that I do is this. I started with mirror work. I start looking into the mirror, talk to myself. I started becoming friends with myself. And whenever I'm feeling something heavy, I would go to the mirror and uh, on a regular basis for the next 21 days, do it every day in the morning. Just start talking to yourself, find your own interests, and ask yourself how you're feeling and all of that. It will come from within. And especially when you're feeling some strong emotions, I do this. At one of the days, I was feeling very jealous of a friend of mine, and I was like denying that emotion. I was telling a part of me was like, "Oh, you're spiritual. You can't be jealous. It's a negative emotion." Part of me was saying, another part of me is like, "But I am jealous." So I went in front of the mirror and I started talking to myself. I was saying, "Oh, I see that you are feeling jealous, and it's okay. You don't have to wear the spiritual mask all the time. You don't have to fake anything. You don't have to tell someone that I'm jealous of you either, but you just accept what is. And I still love you just the way you are, my dear Harika." I said this to myself, and I had tears in my eyes. I was like, "Oh, I'm still loved. Am I not a bad person?" I felt from within. And I realized, oh, according to me, being jealous is bad. Okay, where did this come from? Then I told my inner child, my dear inner child, it's okay. It's okay to feel jealous also. It's okay to feel anger also. As long as you're not harming anybody, including yourself and others. So that instant, as soon as I did this, it dissolved. I could really go back and appreciate my friend for her achievements. Heartfully, I did that. Until then, it was not coming from my heart or from my mind or mouth, anywhere. But after I did this, it was very helpful. So, this is one way you can do this. Another way is in your meditation. You can just simply close your eyes. And another thing that I do is whenever I'm triggered, I will just, if I'm too triggered to answer, I will keep quiet first. Instead of saying something unnecessary and hurtful to the other, it's best to stay quiet and take a pause, take a break. Tell them that just give me a few moments. I need some time. I will go into my room or into my own space and I'll just close my eyes, relax, and ask myself, where is this coming from? Why am I so triggered for such a small thing or for this thing? Why am I so triggered? What is this reminding me of? Is this coming from right now or is this coming from my past? So usually if someone is very authoritative or bossy, I used to get very triggered and I used to get very rebellious. So when I asked myself, where is this coming from? It's coming from my childhood. My rebelliousness towards my father is reflecting here. So I realized that and I told my inner child that it's okay. I understand. I see you. I see that you've been dominated many times and you're afraid of the same thing being repeated. So I see that and it is okay. Right now, there's no threat. They are just trying to tell their opinion in their way. It's just their way. So I just spoke to my inner child and I do this even today. if I'm triggered. So this is another way. Or in your meditation, you can connect to your inner child. There are certain things that are not temporary, that are not like this, with the authoritative person, you have dealt with it immediately, okay. But there are certain things that keep coming back. Maybe something happened 4 5 days back and it is still not going away from your head. So in those cases, what I do is I sit in meditation. Anyway, we meditate every day. So the breath meditation is separate. That is purely meditation to connect, to leave, let go of all thoughts and all. This is a separate meditation. I take out some more time, maybe 10 15 minutes for this. And I ask myself, okay, so I see that I've been triggered for the last 3 days for something, and this is not going away from my mind. What's happening? Why is this so? I just ask myself to bring out some memories if there's anything, any connection to my childhood. And it takes time. Sometimes it takes a few days to get to that memory if it is too painful. But once I understand the root cause, then I will just be with the inner child and place my hands on the heart and talk to my inner child and say, okay, I see that maybe that person who traumatized you in childhood is reflecting in this person. Maybe you're reminded of that person. So let's try to let go of it. So I process that childhood wound through tears, through anger, release. If you want to release some anger, if you have too much anger, take some pillow, punch it. Sometimes it's important to let go of the emotions before we get to the understanding part. If we get there too quickly, it is just a periphery thing. So that's another way. And last thing I would like to say is your non-dominant hand is related to your subconscious. So if you would like to converse with your inner child, you can use your non-dominant hand. That is, if you're a right hand person, then use your left hand to talk to your inner child. You can ask some question with your right hand. Hi, my dear inner child, what do you like? And you can answer with your left hand. And you can do left hand drawings also. This helped a lot of people, even some of my friends' children. Children, though, we will not talk about dealing with children, that's a totally different topic. But drawing with crayons or pencils or whatever, it really helps us connect to the inner child and start pursuing whatever you liked as a child. I'm sorry for taking a few more minutes extra. I just thought this is very important. So I'm sharing all the tools that you can apply with. So these are a few very, very powerful tools that have helped me a lot. I still use all of them. So all the best for your journey. What else do you want to ask? Please shoot. Let me check the chat box as well. My inner child is sleeping in my arm. That's beautiful. Thank you. Thank you so much. Mystic, yes. Thank you. I'm happy that you could really connect your inner child, friends, and stay connected. Continue doing the work, and it'll be wonderful. If you feel like you need to learn more about inner child, then you can refer to the books that I suggested. One is by John Bradshaw. The book name is Homecoming. It's too intense, so be careful. Only if you really want to study inner child in depth, then only I recommend that, not for light readers. If you feel like I just want to deal with my own trauma, I don't want to research on inner child or anything, then it's best that you take individual sessions, individual guidance. And if you feel like contacting me, you can also take my number. Maybe Manoj or Farah can help. I will send that my number to them. Yes. That's it. Is addiction related to inner child wound? Manisha is asking. Yes, yes, Manisha. Addiction is very much related to inner child wound. If you see, as I said earlier, um, in childhood, if we did not get receive enough love, then we tend to replace with something or the other, either shopping or something or the other. And this void that is formed in childhood is not easily fulfilled. It's not filled. It's like a bottomless cup. In childhood, as a child, we need to be loved from the outside. But as an adult, we can give that love to ourselves because now we have the understanding. We are mature. We are mature enough to love ourselves. But we forget that easily. So we have to first go back to this inner child aspect, and we can fill that bottomless cup only by loving ourselves. Nobody else can do it now. As a grown up, nobody else can do it for you, for us. So we have to love ourselves. We have to fill that cup. And then only any addiction will be gone. All addictions, 99% of them, are coming because of lack of love. Instead of love, in place of love, we want to fill something else, either work or alcohol, cigarettes, drugs, anything that's going to give us that joy, that pleasure that we wanted to feel as a child by receiving love. Amina, you want to ask something?
Yes, hello. It was a wonderful session. I really enjoyed it. One thing that I would like to share is that I think going back into my childhood, since I'm wiser and grown up now, I could also see a point of view of the other person. And that really helped me see the situation much better and forgive myself and that person more easily.
That's beautiful.
So I guess that's one point. Another point that I wanted to ask was that we as parents try our best to do well for our children, and we want our children to do well, but there are external forces also. How
Yeah.
do we protect our children from that? How can we make them heal? Because I don't want my child to go through a trauma or anything and keep it inside. If I want him or her to get rid of it, how do I do it? Through meditation? Thank you.
Thank you for your question, Amina, and for your sharing. That's beautiful that you could see the other person's perspective. And about your child, first of all, it depends on the age also. Of course, your own healing will help them heal. When the parent heals, that healing is passed on to the child. It's like inheritance, you see. Children inherit whatever we have. So our healing is also inherited. And that's the primary thing. That's the most important thing that I would say. And secondly, how do we protect them from external factors is what you've asked. So a mother's love is the best and most powerful protection one can have. So once you are healed and you send your love to your child from wherever you are, your child may have gone outside, out of country, anywhere. As long as you don't have the fear and you're just simply purely sending your love and joy to your child when you're thinking of them, that will protect them really, truly. And of course, uh, your trust on them and your guidance when they need you, your presence, all this will help them. And further, if you feel that they've already had some wounds from their childhood, and now what do I do? How do I help them? Then I would say if they are grown up, maybe if they are in their 20s or above the teenage, then you allow them to do their own inner child healing, connect to their own inner child. If they are younger, they are like still adolescent or teenager or younger, then you can guide them accordingly. You can give your love, and whatever has happened. But now our change of behavior will help them have a new perspective. And if you want to say something like, "Oh, I'm so sorry that I have judged you till now," for example, uh, from now onwards, I give you all the freedom. I have so far held you with my possessiveness. So now onwards, I give you the freedom. I trust you. When we start saying, when we start expressing, then also a lot of changes happen. The moment one person in the family changes, that energy changes everything in the family. We have seen that time and again. Recently, 2 days back, a lady was sharing with me that her children never used to listen to her, and she had to really be strict and firm and shout at them to come back home early and discipline them. She used to struggle a lot, but once she has changed, she has healed her inner child and herself. Not like we are completely healed, but a main part of us that is creating this problem, you see. So she's healed one aspect of her majorly. Once she went back home, her daughter herself came and asked her for permission. Mama, can I go to this party? I'm going to be late. If that's okay with you, I really want to go. That is beautiful, isn't it? So far, she had to really be so strict and firm. Now everything has changed, it seems. So that is the solution. Changing ourselves is changing life. So thank you so much, dear friends. If you have any other questions and all, please post it to me, or you can also, you're most welcome to Quantum Life University. I invite all of you, if you visit India anytime, please come. Thank you so
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
Miss
you.
Harika. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Good day.